All right, everybody, good evening. My name is Craig Blanchett, and I am an independent certified Optavia coach. And it is my honor and privilege to bring this presentation to you tonight. The topic of tonight's talk is called Floundering, Flourishing, and Food. And it all comes from element 16 of Dr. A's life book. It's actually your life book written by Dr. A. This is a little couple of before pictures with the chunky monkey Craig here. Both of these, a little bit too much Craig and not nearly enough hair, clearly. But this is me today, and this is kind of where I've been living for the last 15 years. And prior to getting overweight, I was in pretty good shape as an athlete. And then it switched, gained about 50 pounds. And through the discoveries and the information that I learned through Optavia, about blood sugar and really from Dr. A, utilizing new tools and new mindsets, I was able to take that weight off. And through the ongoing training, I've been able to keep that weight off and navigate that ever since. So this is me today as an optimist. That's a optimist that works with Optavia. Optivist, pretty cute, huh? Tonight, I want you to buckle up because it's going to get a little spicy in here. This idea that I was talking with a few people earlier today about the topic, because I talk about these topics and the process of finally like getting over the barrier and just realizing that being and staying in a healthy body is a never ending battle. It's not going to get easy one day. The trouble is, you're as you know more, you also age. And so things are constantly changing. And so I wonder sometimes for some of the folks that I work with, and I know some of you are saying this to yourselves, how come I can't get this? How come I can't get it? And so um, tonight I'm going to shoot pretty straight with you. And ultimately, everything that I'm saying tonight is hopefully going to challenge your past self for the benefit of your future self. And one thing I'm sure about is that you can transform the way that you think, the way that you act based upon your emotions, the friends that you have, so many things in your life. And I want to take you all back to Dr. A's life book. This is literally just in the first few pages of the life book. And this is actually on page number 6. I'm going to read this to you because I think it's profound. Dr. A says one of the biggest and most powerful realizations we can ever have is to know that our life path is not fixed, meaning we're not on a predetermined outcome where there's no input or corrections that you can make. Everything is just what it's going to be. The way we think, the way we act, the people we spend time with, even the world you live in can all be changed. All things are possible. You have the capacity over time with specific focus, guidance, and practice to become the dominant force in your life. Think about that. If you want to read that again, that is on page number 6 of Dr. A's Your Life book. And so tonight we are going to go through a couple of things, and I want to start off with some questions and maybe some things you've heard in your head before. First question is, I knew it was bad, but I ate it anyway. right? I've got some clients that say, oh, I knew what I was doing. I saw that cookie and I just didn't give a crap. I just decided to eat it anyway. Have you thought that? You can put a one in the chat. Won't be able to read the chat live, but you can put a one in the chat if that is the case for you. But so that concept, I knew it was bad, but I just went ahead and ate it anyway. I figured I can get to it tomorrow. This thinking is in your way and will need to be dealt with in order for you to attain the health you want. Here's another question you might have. You go and you buy something and you say, maybe there's some snacks or some fruit by the foot, some fruit roll-ups, some gummy bears, some crackers, some of those peanut butter crackers, some Nutter Butters, some Oreos, maybe some ice cream. Oh, we just want to have it on hand in case the grandkids stop by. The grandkids live in Florida and you live in Washington. They're not stopping by, folks. It's for the kids. I guess the question I would have you ask yourself, are you eating the kids' snacks? If they're for the kids, why are they in your mouth? Next one. Sometimes people ask this. How did I get off track again? I was doing so good and now I'm just off track again. So if you answered yes, you've heard these voices in your head. We're going to talk about that tonight. This comes from Dr. A's Your Life book, and this is going to be in Element 16, dealing with addictive food. So we're going to explore the danger of addictive food because there are some biological propensities that you can, when certain people eat certain types of food, we'll talk about what those are, their brain is neurologically wired to be very susceptible. It lights up like a Christmas tree. And then there's certain people that don't. It's probably about 20% of the population. So 80% doesn't, but 20% does. And so we're going to give you a little assessment later, and we're going to show you what that looks like. So this is the susceptibility quiz. It is on, it starts on page 322. So what I want to have you do is, if you have your life book close by, grab it, open it up, page 322. While those guys are grabbing it, if you don't have a life book or you can't find it, maybe it's under some 2 inches of dust, or maybe it's out in the garage. Who knows? We're going to go through this assessment so you can take it with me right where you are right now. So you want to grab a pen and a piece of paper, all right? And I'm going to give you the scoring card here, right? I'm going to give you 10 questions. There's only 10 of them. And you're going to answer either rarely, occasionally, or daily. There's 3 options: rarely, occasionally, or daily. And at the end, we're going to add up all the rarelies, all the occasionallys, and all the dailies. So write those 3 words down. And every time I give you a question that's one of those, just put a little hash mark next to it. All right. So if the first question is rarely, you put a little dash mark right next to rarely. Okay. Hope you guys are all ready. Kind of flying blind tonight. I can't see you, but I know you're there. All right. First question is, I find it difficult to control how much I eat. Is that a rarely number? Is that occasionally? Or is that daily? All right. So again, if you guys missed it, you're right. Write down rarely, occasionally, and daily, and just put a little hash mark next to it for whatever answer it corresponds with what you are. Number 2, I crash in the afternoon. I have trouble waking up in the morning. So I crash in the afternoon, and when I wake up in the morning, I'm still sleepy and groggy. Rarely, occasionally, or daily. I have cravings for specific foods. It's like, I just really want that. I need that. I suffer from moodiness, headaches, or fogginess. Again, rarely, occasionally, or daily. Number 5, when I only eat a moderate amount of food, I'm not satisfied. I have to overeat to feel satisfied. All right, there's your first 5. Our second 5, ready? Number 6, I feel guilty after eating, rarely, occasionally, or daily. I spent a considerable amount of time thinking about food. Spent, spend, either one. Number 8, I eat even if I'm not hungry because I crave a food. Number 9, I eat large amounts of food and feel powerless to stop. Number 10, I crave carbohydrates like pasta, bread, white rice, or desserts. All right, you guys. So now we're going to score all the, we're going to count up all your hashtags. So count up all of your rarelies, all of your moderates, and all of your, oh, excuse me, all your rarelies, occasionallys, and dailies. And this is the scoring system. If you have 6 or less, you're low susceptibility, right? Your moderate susceptibility, if you have, again, what is it? It is moderate susceptibility is 6 as well. If you have less than 6 in the occasional, and the high susceptibility is if you have 6 or more that are in the high susceptibility. That's the dailies. So low susceptibility is 6 or less rarely. Moderate susceptibility is 6 or less on occasionally. And high susceptibility is 6 or less in the daily. Maybe that's greater than. Anyway, so now you can score it up and you can tell yourself, what's that going to tell you with this is a couple of things. It's going to tell you if you have that brain wiring that doesn't mean it's an excuse to eat poorly. What it does mean is that you're going to want to consider any of the white flour or sugar. And because if you're in a highly susceptibility, you will never benefit yourself from eating those things. They will harm you deeply. And that's just the cards you're dealt. Many of you know I was born with a birth defect. Guess what? I'm short. That's just the cards I'm dealt. Suck it up and have an awesome life. All right? So, high susceptibility, suck it up and have an awesome life. All right? So here we got the things. These are the big dangers. Food addiction, especially sugar and processed foods that contain flour, is one of the most socially acceptable yet silently destructive behaviors in our culture today. You notice the color of these powders? Very similar to this color of powder. They have similar responses in the brain. Sugar, flour, all of them are white powders. Thought that was very interesting. You might consider, is it okay to have a little cocaine? I don't know. Flour can be detrimental to your health, especially if you're in the high susceptibility category. Same with refined sugar. So what this does, there was one study that rats were exposed to a lever that they could push before a highly sugary food was released into a trough, right? The highly susceptible group, that was a third of these rats, they loved the lever and would continually hit it even before the food was released. They were just all about the lever. That was the highly susceptible group. That's the suck it up and have an awesome life group. Because actually, you're way beyond a rat. The moderately susceptible group, a third of those, these rats would come to the lever sometimes, and sometimes they would not. They were moderately susceptible. And then there was a third group that was low susceptibility. And these was another third of the rats would only come and they would only push it when the food showed up. So they were like, oh, well, that looks interesting. But they just didn't really have much attention to the lever. The food showed up, and that would only be when they would have a concern for it. So you might be in the low susceptibility, and you might just have had a family of origin that liked eating sweets. Well, you probably can kick that pretty easily, even the moderately susceptible ones. And you can still have these things occasionally, but it's not going to rule your life. If you're in the red, you're in the highly susceptible, you'll never get better by having it. So you might just decide to say, it's not going to be in my life, and you're going to suck it up, and you're going to have an awesome life. There's no excuses here. What we want to do tonight is we want to talk about something, a couple new phrases, the FF. It is the flourishing factor. Who wants to increase their flourishing factor? Right? So you see this lady and she's walking past all of the chips and the Cheetos and the Coke and the Doritos and all the little processed flour foods, wheat foods with all of that magic sauce on them. And you're walking past those through the door that's called flourishing. Do you want that? Do you see that? How do you imagine yourself? Do you visualize the difference between stopping and having chips versus walking past those things and moving into a new way of living called flourishing? Right? If not now, when? When are you going to decide that flourishing begins now? I'm walking past these things, and it's as hard as it is. One thing for sure about the hard thing, your brain will always trick you into saying, tomorrow will be easier. I should wait till tomorrow. Next week, I'll start because it will be easier. Next month, I will start. It'll be easier. When I get back from vacation, I'll start because it'll be easier. Be sure in your brain that when tomorrow comes and it's upon you, it will be now. When a week in the future, when you actually have to make that decision, it'll feel exactly like it would feel if you just made it now. It's not easier in the future. It's just as hard as it is right now. But your brain plays a trick on you and says, let's push the hard stuff off because we want to enjoy these chips or this pizza or this whatever. Increase your flourishing factor, visualize it, decide to jump in and just get after it, right? What can you do to stack the deck in your favor, right? You see this lady sitting at a coffee shop. She's got a cup of coffee and a piece of chocolate cake. It's probably buttercream frosting. And she visualizes this woman outside saying, I'm flourishing. I'm waking up in a body. I say, man, it's good to wake up in here. Imagine yourself getting out of the shower and you take a double take and say, who's that lady? Wow. Who's that guy? Maybe you stop and you do a little pose, a little check in the mirror. You know what I'm talking about. Imagine you go into your closet and you look at your clothes and dang it, all of them fit and they all look great. No more hiding or layering or, oh, this is frumpy. Got to do that. Maybe I'll wear a turtleneck. Yeah. What if you went into an everything fits closet? Why not you? It's possible. Why not you? Stack the deck in your favor. We're going to talk about another concept here. It's called the concept of two anchors. So imagine that you have a boat and the boat's got one anchor. That's essentially you and your desire to be healthy. Okay. So you're there and you're working with your coach and you have a desire to be healthy. And there's a storm coming. It's called Thanksgiving. It's called the birthday. It's called whatever, Tuesday, right? What if you had another anchor? First anchor is helping yourself with your resources. But there's another anchor that many of us coaches get to experience. And I realized that those of you that haven't decided to help others or coach, you don't get this. And it's helping someone else. When you've got working with your coach, you've got one anchor. And when you're helping someone else, it anchors you in a different way. So when that storm comes along, you may not make healthy choices for yourself, but because you're mentoring someone else, you decided, I'm not going to do that today. I'm out with my friend. They're looking up to me. I'm I'm helping them. I'm going to not have the thing that I wanted to have. I'm going to have this other thing that I want to have, and my future self wants that too. So this is the idea of what we're calling a health sponsor. This doesn't mean you're a health coach. It's probably more than just a referral. Hey, friend, go talk to my coach. They're awesome. This is a health sponsor. Well, what does it mean by having a health sponsor? Well, what would happen literally if you helped someone else on their health journey? You know a lot if you've been around a while. You know, you have a health sponsor, probably your health coach, but you might have some other people that sponsor you and they encourage you and they cheer you on. They might be a walking partner, right? Someone that you meet up with and you walk with them. Someone that when you go to the gym, you see them and they're like, hey, great job showing up today. I knew you could do it, right? So a health sponsor could be a referral, but I think a health sponsor is something even more important than that. A health sponsor would be somebody that would be like, well, I'm going to connect you with my coach, but I'm going to cheer you on your journey. So when we go out to eat, I'm not going to recommend ice cream. What if your spouse was a health sponsor? Wouldn't that be awesome? You might say, when I show up or say I'm going to show up for a walk, I'm not going to cancel because I'm your sponsor. I'm there to help you. I'm there to show you the ways. I'm going to be an ally, right? Not what's the other A word? An accomplice. When you go eating with them, you go out to eat, they don't bring donuts. That's a health sponsor, right? Lots of these different options that you can have. Think about it. Who are you going to sponsor and cheer on that's struggling with their health? You may want to involve your coach, your sponsor, and then you're going to go come alongside somebody else and you're going to say, hey, let's do 10 push-ups a day. I'm going to do mine and I'll text you when I'm done. I want to make sure you do yours too. Let's do this together. Think about that idea of those anchors. That's going to anchor you to someone else's journey that's looking up to you and counting on you. And you're anchoring yourself to your coach's journey. And you're looking up to them and they're working on you, right? One of the biggest things with this whole process, right, is called, this is really the antidote. And these words are so simple, but don't confuse the simplicity for the power at which these can have in your life. Stop suspend any further decisions. It's going to take a lot for some of you because that train just does not want to stop. Then you ask yourself with a challenging question, is this going to serve me in the future? Or am I going to just continue the old patterns and not change? Am I going to support the old me? Or am I going to battle for the future me? But you got to stop. You got to give it a little bit of time. 90 seconds. That's a minute and a half, which can be an eternity when your body and your brain is telling you, I want this now. I don't care. Pause. Give yourself a chance. Stop. Challenge. And then make a choice to choose not only what's going to be satisfying now, but tomorrow you'll thank yourself. And when you do this, and it's a decision, when you do this, this is going to break those chains of you going back all the time to the old diet mentality. I'm telling you, this is the magic thing. And here's some new words for you. You can write these down. You battle for your best. You fight for your best and begin flourishing. Battle, fight, flourish. Battle, fight, flourish. You guys can say it with me. Battle, fight, flourish. Don't expect it to be easy, but expect it to be worth it, and you can do it. Earlier I said, suck it up and have an awesome life. Is that what you needed to hear tonight? Most of you have legs. I was born without legs. I can't suck it up and have legs, but I can suck it up and have an awesome life. You can suck it up and have an awesome life no matter what family you were born into, no matter what brain you have, no matter what your circumstances are. You can suck it up and you can have an awesome life and choose not to give in to the easy way, but choose to battle, fight, and flourish. Think about those anchors. Who are you going to sponsor? Actually, I'm curious if you'll put in the chat, if you have somebody that comes to mind that you want to sponsor, you want to cheer on, you want to partner with, you want to come alongside, you want to show them about low glycemic foods, maybe you want to take them a lean and green, put their name in the chat. I hope the chat's just blowing up right now because this is going to be so meaningful, not only for you, but for them too. Sponsor somebody. And I'm going to close tonight here with this. Strangely, life gets harder when you try to make it easy. Exercising might be hard, but never moving makes life harder. Mastering your craft is hard, but having no skills is harder. Uncomfortable conversations are hard, but avoiding every conflict is harder. Easy has a cost. That comes from our friend James Clear. So I hope you've enjoyed this talk tonight, and I hope you will join us next week for Let's Talk. We're going to take it back to the Health Pros Live Q&A. That's coming up on the 28th. So join us next week for our Health Pros Live. And my name is Craig Blanchett, and it's been my privilege to share with you tonight. Thank you, everybody.